Member for Kingsley.
Mr Speaker, I move that the following address in reply to His Excellency's speech be agreed to. To His Excellency, the Honourable Dr Ken Michael, AC, Governor of the State of Western Australia. May it please Your Excellency, we, the Legislative Assembly of the Parliament of the State of Western Australia, in Parliament assembled, beg to express loyalty to our most gracious Sovereign and to thank Your Excellency for the speech you have been pleased to address to Parliament. May I congratulate you, Mr Speaker, for your election to the position of Speaker of the House. This position and your deliberations will be instrumental in ensuring fair and constructive debate in the House. May I also congratulate my parliamentary colleagues and the Honourable Premier on this election, which resulted in a change of government. I am most honoured to be a member of this Liberal National Government. I am pleased that I have been elected to represent the electorate of Kingsley in the northern suburbs. I wish to thank the people of Kingsley for their support, and I will continue to listen to them and work with them to ensure that the electorate is well served. Kingsley is a compact electorate comprising the suburbs of Greenwood, Kingsley and Woodvale, and falling within the city of Joondalup. It is primarily a residential electorate, with many people in small business and middle management. They are all striving to provide opportunities for their families. They are people who support the principles of hard work. They are not seeking handouts, but acknowledgement of their efforts through good government. Many people have been in the electorate since the suburbs were developed. As a result, the electorate of Kingsley now consists of a broad demographic of ages and the additional requirements now needed of such a community. The people are very active in their communities and they care greatly about the issues that exist. These issues revolve predominantly around law and order, education, transport and health. It pleases me that people within my electorate are actively involved in local issues, as I believe that this makes for a more effective community. If people do not get involved or believe that there isn't anything they can do to affect change, then our communities will suffer. Community engagement is critical to the success of our society, and this has been demonstrated on many occasions, unfortunately, usually when there is a crisis. The strength and success of our communities and our state lies within our people. I believe my personal and professional backgrounds have prepared me for this important role as a Member of Parliament. I was born in Brisbane, Queensland, and my family comprised my parents and two sisters. We had a very normal life. My experiences broadened in a most positive way when my father was transferred with his work to a small town in North Queensland called Bowen when I was in Year 5. The 5 years that my family had in this town were amazing and formed a significant part of my life, and they have been instrumental in how my life would develop. My father was transferred again, this time to Perth, and we arrived in 1970, once again planning only to stay 5 years. But we are still here because we also fell in love with Perth and its lifestyle. My family has always been active in the community, from sporting groups through to church and community organisations. Volunteering is very much part of our upbringing, and I recognise and support the valuable and necessary role of volunteers in our community at all levels. I was originally booked in to attend the Brisbane Girls Grammar School for my high school education, but due to living in North Queensland, my parents determined that we would attend the local high school and stay together as a family rather than boarding in Brisbane. This was a significant decision in our lives with respect to our education. Likewise, when we arrived in Perth, there was no hesitation to enrol in the local high school, with my family again placing their confidence in the public education system. My education and my teaching roles have been in public education, and I support the need to ensure that there is a strong and viable education system, both in the public and private domains. At the University of Western Australia, I completed a Bachelor of Physical Education, being an inaugural graduate of this degree. I then completed my diploma in education and commenced my teaching career. I enjoyed my time teaching, which covered 15 years at 4 government high schools. Developing and educating young people was a very rewarding and, of course, at times, very challenging experience. It is vital that our education system supports our young people as they prepare for the future. Education is a lifelong process and should be a positive experience. I then moved into the Department of Sport and Recreation, where I held a number of positions. But I must say that my most recent role was also the most rewarding. I managed the regional service for the department, using sport and recreation to achieve broader-based community outcomes, while at the same time improving the lifestyle of people living in the regions. I would like to take this opportunity to promote the value of sport and recreation in our community. It forms the social fabric of any community. It has the potential to prevent many problems in health, crime and antisocial behaviour. It assists in education, tourism, community development and social cohesion. It develops people. My experience has demonstrated to me that we have an amazing state and there are incredible people throughout regional Western Australia who are committed to reinvent their towns, their industries, and to grow the opportunities in the country. This has led me to firmly believe that we must develop our state outside of Perth. I can most happily recall my working times at Quabba Station, Indigenous camps at the Argyle Diamond Mine, Meekatharra, Columbaroo, as well as the more well-known places of Albany, Esperance, Broome, Kununurra, Kalgoorlie, the Midwest, Gascoyne, Pilbara and the Southwest. I will always support the people in regional Western Australia who make this state what it is. For many years, I had the privilege of holding the position of President of Tennis West, overseeing the development of the game of tennis in Western Australia. And there is not a town in regional Western Australia without a tennis court. It is part of the social fabric of these communities. In addition, I was the Director of Tennis Australia, which sets the direction of tennis in Australia as well as conducting the highly successful Australian Open. I remain a Director of the Hopman Cup. In fact, I'm the only Director of the Hopman Cup who lives in Perth for this International Tennis Federation event. Through tennis, I developed extensive networks at state, national and international level as I attended meetings in many parts of the world. These contacts are now friends, another outcome of the value of sport. Some may say that I have made a significant change in the direction of my life by entering politics. It has not been my lifelong ambition to be a politician, but politics and government have always been a keen interest of mine. I am the first member of my extended family who has moved into the political arena. I enjoyed watching from the outside, and I'm now pleased to be actively involved in a Liberal national government contributing to the people of Western Australia now on the inside. The sport and recreation industry is full of politics, and I'm well versed in getting the best from people in situations that require a cool head and a calm, considered approach. The sport and recreation industry is a people industry, and politics is about representing people and preparing the future for our people. Setting the direction for the future of Western Australia is a critical component which I'm excited about, as there are few professions that can really impact in this area. It is a great responsibility that we have, and one that should be foremost in our minds. I would describe myself as a person who enjoys looking to the future and shaping what needs to be done now to prepare for that. I do not believe in just letting things happen. Our community is facing the impact of several large, sophisticated and complex issues. We cannot think that we are immune from the impacts of a changing climate and, more recently, the global financial meltdown. These issues will have major impacts, but I believe also provide us with significant opportunities. For our state and its people, we must deal with these issues by adopting a cooperative government approach, led by those of us entrusted by the community to work and find solutions at the international, national, state and local levels. This Parliament has a significant responsibility in this. Therefore, I support an approach based on the quadruple bottom line, especially at the level at which I can influence in this House. In this, I believe in balance. It's not just about the economic bottom line. I find that in many ways, regional Western Australia is a very good barometer for social change, as initially, changes are more evident in the country and take longer to be identified in the city. One of these significant changes in our society is the change in our communities. Believe me, our communities are changing faster than they ever have, and many aspects of our lives are not keeping up. These changes are based on changes in, amongst other things, the work practices, and I refer to fly in, fly out, drive in, drive out, shift work and casual work, the family structures, and the disengagement between people. I refer initially to the changes in work practices and the impact it is having on our society. We must find ways to deal with the impacts of fly in, fly out, drive in, drive out, shift work and casual work, and consider how we can develop ways to adapt to achieve strong and effective communities in this ever-changing world. Our family structures are changing. Our families are smaller, often broken, and even totally disengaged with each other. We are now more than ever operating as one-parent type families as a result of many issues, including the changing work practices. Therefore, we are experiencing a significant loss in people who make a voluntary contribution to the community, helping out in the school canteen, being a volunteer in a community organisation, taking on additional responsibilities. It is most disturbing when you read and can recognise that gangs are becoming the families of young people. Is our community so unsure of itself that we are not confident or prepared to set boundaries, but instead appear to accept all forms of antisocial behaviour, in particular the rationalisation and normalisation of behaviours previously deemed unacceptable to the wider community? We are creating our future now, and there are many challenges and issues for our community that do not always give me a lot of confidence for the future. These issues are basically related to the concept of connectedness within the family and within the community. Our society works when people are connected, and preferably in a positive way. Are the decisions we will make connecting people or isolating people? Why is it that we are now more concerned with spending more money on traffic calming devices at schools than to continue to employ a crosswalk attendant at a primary school, and with whom the community, the parents, the teachers and the children trust? And by the way, it would cost an awful lot more to have the traffic calming devices. Is it good that people hide in their houses behind roller shutters rather than taking an active or even a passive interest in the neighbourhood? Is it good that people will not call the police if they are concerned about antisocial activity in the neighbourhood because they perceive they could be put at risk? Young people are our future. We must provide the environments that develop these people so they take on positive and leadership roles within the community. We must not forget our senior people. These people made our country what it is. They worked hard. They went without. They saved before they bought. They are still making a valuable contribution to our society through their volunteering, their child minding and now even child raising, their caring of loved ones and family. That value is enormous, and our state is the beneficiary of these people. We must also take on responsibilities ourselves. In this Parliament, we have a great responsibility, and I challenge each one of us to accept this and act accordingly. In conclusion, I must take this opportunity to acknowledge and thank the people who have been instrumental in my life and with this next step in my career. Firstly, to my parents, Ron and Margaret Mitchell, who unfortunately are in Sydney this week with my sister Janet and her family. They have provided a close family environment with strong Christian values and support. To my Perth sister Glynis, her husband Mark, Mitchell, Matthew and Bronte, thank you for your love and bringing me back to what really matters in life on many occasions. I thank the Liberal Party of Western Australia for endorsing me as a candidate for the election. This process began, as you would expect, on a tennis court, with a group of young Sri Lankan players in Perth through the Honourable Peter Collier and the Reverend Dr. Margaret Court. In particular, Peter continued to play the key role in my campaign and my election, and I thank him for that guidance and support. It has been a remarkable and very fast journey, and to the many people who have been part of that experience, may I say a very sincere thank you. There was not a person that I discussed the next step with who did not encourage me to proceed. May I acknowledge the people of Cowan Division and in particular the Greenwood and Woodvale branches of the Liberal Party. Your support has been greatly appreciated. May I recognise the Honourable Cheryl Edwards, the former member for Kingsley, in this process. To my friends who may have expected that when I retired from tennis I would lead a normal life, only to say here she goes again, or what's she doing this time, I appreciate that you accept me and my actions and remain loyal friends. And finally, I'm excited about the opportunities I now have. I'm humbled by the responsibilities I now have. And I'm committed to the future of Western Australia and the electorate of Kingsley. Thank you.